What? This wishing ritual comes from a light novel?
Yep, it's from the one called A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits.
Is it published by the A Publishing House?
But since his victory, he's been acting extremely strange. It's like he's become a completely different person. The doctors can't find anything wrong with him, so I'm betting it must be the work of an evil spirit. That's why I'm here, begging for Guji Ai's help.
What is that?
Fish the demon out of him.
It's the spirit!
See that? That's what you summoned. And look, now that Shingo's no use, it's coming straight for you.
Save me! Save me!
Miko! He fainted! What do we do now?
We...
That was great! Excellent! Woo! What a rush! I haven't felt this great in a long, long time.
He disappeared! But he looked pretty content at the end there.
I don't know, maybe we finally put him to rest?
Huh. Well, Paimon sure is confused. Do you know what that was all about?
I have a rough idea.
we can talk about it later. They're about to wake up.
What am I doing here? Yohei? Yohei, is that you?
Shingo, are you alright?
Yohei, I had the weirdest dream. I dreamed that I wasn't a useless loser with a sword anymore. I even beat one of Domon's disciples. I thought we could finally open a dojo of our own now. But then I realized I couldn't control my own body. And there was this voice in my ear talking to me constantly. I was terrified and I wanted to take control of my body back, but I couldn't. And the voice kept talking about manliness.
Shingo, we shouldn't have made that wish. We summoned a spirit and it possessed you.
Yes, and had we not come to your rescue, your life would have been over before too much longer. Then the spirit would have haunted your brother until he died of fatigue too.
Thank you, Lady Guji. And thank you for your assistance, exorcism experts.
All right, take him to get some rest. He's very weak right now, having been possessed for quite a few days. He will experience a high fever, but it won't be fatal. Remember, this is the price you pay. At this point, I would normally lecture you on the dire consequences of using occult methods to obtain power that does not belong to you. But I think you get the picture now, don't you?
Yes, we understand now. We won't do it ever again.
Thank you, Lady Guji. Thank you, exorcists. We'll be on our way then. Come on, Shingo.
Miko, would they really have lost their lives if we hadn't gotten involved? And if so, why the heck were you so reluctant to help out?
Oh, they would have been fine. I had to scare them a little, though. Otherwise, I hardly think these two lazy rascals would have learned their lesson.
I mean, sometimes you do need to give him the hard lesson.
So, what was it that possessed Shingo?
You saw it all for yourselves. I'm sure you can figure out what kind of spirit had possessed him, can't you?
A master of the sword. Lots of strength.
Ah! Paimon's got it. It was an Oni.
Correct. Although it possessed Shingo, it didn't have any ill intentions. As a matter of fact, it actually seemed like it was trying to train Shingo to become bolder.
Huh. Fair enough. But it seemed like it had the opposite effect.
Tossing salt caused it to temporarily leave Shingo's body. Then, you exhausted its strength by fighting it, so it disappeared. Even if we'd done nothing at all, Shingo would have eventually become too weak for his body to host the spirit, and it would have left of its own accord. Of course, it would have been more stressful for Shingo and Yohei that way. Still, The experience may ultimately have been more effective than me scaring them into submission with a little exaggeration.
Whew. Well, the main thing is that nobody got hurt.
All right, seems like we've wrapped up everything here. Come on, off we go.
Hold on, Miko. You say everything's wrapped up, but are you sure about that?
You mean you disagree?
The incantation they used. The book, A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits.
Oh, you mean that they got the incantation from that book? Yes, I know the one.
Actually, that book's the whole reason we came looking for you at the shrine today. Incantations seem really popular right now.
Human beings don't have powers like us yokai. It's quite understandable for them to be interested in incantations to summon the supernatural.
That's not the point. The problem is that the incantations in the book are actually capable of summoning spirits and stuff. And loads of people are trying it.
Even then, humans only have so much strength. Even if they do successfully summon a spirit with the incantation, it won't stay with them for very long. I really wouldn't fret about it.
But who wrote this book? And why? Don't we think there might be a bigger safety risk here? What do you think, Traveler?
It does worry me a bit.
Yeah, Yohei and Shingo may have been fine in the end, but things got pretty scary when Shingo was possessed.
Lady Yai, I finally found you.
Kuroda, what are you doing here?
I'm here to report on Yai Publishing House's sales for the last month. All the numbers are here. Please take a look.
Let me see. What? We're losing market share?
Ranking? We're being beaten in all categories. One book is topping the charts. It's called A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits.
Both of you, back here now!
Well, that's the loudest you'll ever hear her.
Miko? What is it? You have a really scary look on your face right now.
Things just got serious. A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits is an all-round hit, summarily beating the novels of the Yai Publishing House by every analysis.
Define serious.
Just what is that supposed to mean? I worked extremely hard to promote our latest featured work, and now a rival book comes out of nowhere and steals our thunder. If this isn't the very definition of intolerable, I don't know what is. I have to come up with a counterplan, and you are going to help me.
Huh? How is this our problem all of a sudden?
Paimon, please. Who wrote this book and why? Don't we think there might be a bigger safety risk here? Oh, am I to take it that the safety of the people of Inazuma isn't so important in your eyes after all?
Wait, what just happened? Again, you technically have a point, but this feels all wrong.
Nothing's wrong, okay? Come on. We're going to war. I'm going to head back and make some preparations. Meet me outside the Yai Publishing House.
Okay. Time to deal with the demon in the book. It seems to be in the next update, or whatever, we'll be finally getting to the chasm. And people have been talking about that constantly, but of course people are talking about Sumeru a lot more as well. So usually when people start talking about these things a whole lot, and I mean a lot, and people start teasing with actual pictures that actually look like the real thing, well hey, though there's no pictures of Sumeru, but there's pictures of the chasm.
Alright, Miko, we're here. So what's your plan of action to deal with this rival book?
It literally could have just been a random cave though.
Why don't you take a guess? I'll give you a hint. It's to do with the Yai Publishing House.
Oh, Paimon knows! Combine the reputation of the Yai Publishing House with the status of Guji Yai and tell everyone that the incantations in that book are dangerous!
Paimon, whatever you come up with, she'll probably just shoot you down just to make you feel dumb.
Oh, wow. Your first guess and you got it absolutely
Wrong.
wrong.
Aw,
First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits is the hottest light novel right now. If we did as you suggested, we would effectively be advertising to everyone that the incantations are real. In bending over backwards trying to warn everyone about the dangers, all we would accomplish is to create more curious readers ready to try them out. Also, sales for the book would only increase further.
Okay, yeah, that would be pretty catastrophic. Oh, how about we confiscate all the copies?
Leaving aside the issue of the enormous manpower and resources such an operation would require, going to such lengths over a light novel would be extremely disruptive to the lives of Inazumans.
But that means there's nothing we can do.
Well, I've been thinking. I've read A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits. It has many other good qualities besides the incantations alone. The book contains many ancient kaidan, or tales of the supernatural, and is written in a very engaging way. That is why the book has become so popular. I think we're going to have a difficult time trying to rein in its popularity while it's the only work in its league on the market.
Wait, so you mean...
That's right. How do you get rid of the next big thing? You replace it with the next big thing. So what we're going to do is create Inazuma's newest hit novel.
Oh boy.
Smash our rivals' sales numbers and win our readers back. That is how Yaimiko wages war. Incidentally, this will also be the best way to combat the influence of A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits.
Wait, Miko, so you want us to write a novel?
Can I really do that? I've never written a novel before.
Well, becoming an accomplished novelist certainly isn't an overnight process. But let's not forget that I am the chief editor of the Yai Publishing House. I have my ways. I did say this is what we're going to do. I trust that the word teamwork is in your vocabulary.
Yeah, I just don't trust my part in this.
Anyway, there is a writer submission event going on at the moment. Start by talking to readers and finding out what they're into. When you have an idea of what the current trends are, come back and see me. I'll be at Uyu Restaurant. Find me there when you're done. I will assemble a team, and we can work while we eat.
Oh boy. Oh my.
I've been reading light novels for a long time now. I'm mainly into big, ambitious fantasy works with an original core concept and good storytelling. These days, though, everyone seems to be imitating each other. Most of the time, I can guess what the story is about just from the title. The only recent book worth mentioning is A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits. Not only is it a good story, but the descriptions are really true to life. So much so that I'm almost wondering if maybe the author really has met all those yokai before.
The key to a successful light novel is having good illustrations. When to use illustrations, what they should contain, and which artist you should commission for them. These are all key things to bear in mind. Good illustrations can make up for bad writing. But on the flip side, a bad illustration can ruin your novel, even if you have the best story in the world. There's a saying that light novels are essentially a case of buy art, get words free. I'd agree with that. Too bad most of the top artists have jam-packed schedules, so it's extremely difficult to commission them. The illustrations in A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits are incredible, but it's unlike any art style I've ever seen before.
I'll be honest, I read light novels for the cheap thrills. In most traditional stories, the protagonist usually has this long and drawn-out character arc, usually involving a process of separation, loss, and ultimately growth and renewed strength. It reads well and everything, it's just a little slow-paced for me.
Well, I mean, it depends how long the story goes on. If you have a short story and stuff, the character isn't gonna have that much. They're gonna have their freaking character arc go pretty fast, but if you have a long story, especially one that you have practically no idea when it's going to end, then you're gonna be adding a lot. That character's gonna have a lot changing to them, and well, usually the protagonist will either have the most or they will witness the most out of other characters. So, and hell, sometimes characters who aren't even the protagonist will undergo more than the protagonist does. Sometimes overshadowing your protagonist, unless the protagonist has more things to say than the other person, or just does just a tiny bit more, or is just stronger.
A first-hand guide to summoning spirits, where the protagonist is super strong right from the get-go. That's what I mean by cheap thrills. Action-packed right from page 1.
I mean, you can have the protagonist be that strong right from the get-go, but then the protagonist can still grow stronger. You can have the protagonist be the strongest person in the entire thing, like hands down, but it doesn't mean they still won't have any troubles, and still have to grow themselves, and, you know, have their weaknesses.
The protagonist is a kitsune who has not only mastered the secret art of incantations, but also tea ceremony, painting, and calligraphy.
There's much more to light novels than Paimon realized. Let's go tell our findings to Yai Miko.
It's kind of the same of like having the protagonist be very strong from the get-go. You could have a character who is even just weak and is actually gets stronger, but is hands down the weakest person in the entire thing that you write. Like, yeah, they're gonna get strong as hell, and they would be like 100 times stronger than they were at the very start, but they are still weaker than everyone else in comparison. There are ways to do this kind of stuff, and it just needs to be done well, which takes a lot of thinking. I've never been in here. I never knew this was a place.
Ah, there you are. Let me introduce the team. You've already met Junkichi and Shigeru.
Oh god, why is Junkichi here?
Shigeru is an experienced editor, and Junkichi is the author he's partnered with. Junkichi's working through a creative lull at the moment, but all his past works have been very popular with young people. He's developed a distinct and enduringly popular style. Satomi is Yai Publishing House's ace in the hole. Her specialty is that she can write all kinds of completely different stories and all under different pen names. As for what those names are, well, that's a trade secret. They will be teaming up with us to collectively create the novel that knocks a first-hand guide to summoning spirits off its perch. So, feeling better about my plan now?
No.
Uh-huh. It definitely makes sense.
Now then, tell me what you found out about readers' preferences. All very true. An original core concept, a fast pace, quality illustrations, and lots of action. This is the formula that will guarantee good sales numbers. More importantly than that, even though it's a work of fiction, we have to deliver a sense of realism.
Paimon followed pretty much all of that, but there's still one question. What are we actually gonna write about? For example, we know we need an original core concept, but how do we come up with one?
And your target audience. Take a first-hand guide to summoning spirits, for example. When I read it, all I find is common knowledge to the kitsune, but to the general public, it's bursting with new and interesting ideas. It all comes down to the size of the information gap between author and reader. As a traveler, there must be a great many things you know that are complete unknowns to the people of Inazuma. What is commonplace to you may be fresh and original to them.
Oh, right! So maybe we can take inspiration from our time in Mondstadt and Lille. But that would make it a completely different genre than a first-hand guide to summoning spirits. Is that gonna be a problem?
Not at all. You don't have to worry so much about how to compete with that book. All you have to do is provide some interesting ideas based on your travel experiences. As long as the core content is interesting, my expert team here will be able to flesh out the details.
Who's that in the back?
Alright, let's start with chapter 1 then. What are you thinking?
I'm sorry, but just seeing reincarnated in another world, like, please, no, not this. Wait. Wait. No, I didn't read the rest of it. I was laughing because reincarnated in another world makes me think of any kind of isekai. But no, encounters with airborne emergency rations. Then we got the Work-shy Bard, the Dragon, and the Grand Adventure. This is much better.
This sounds like a great one! Let's see here. The protagonist arrives in Mondstadt for the first time to the sight of a dragon flying around and wreaking havoc on the city. With the help of some trusty companions, the protagonist successfully defeats the dragon.
What?
But then, the dragon suddenly turns into a beautiful young woman.
Oh no, this is a real isekai.
Human, let us work together to build a better future.
What?
The love story between human
What?
and dragon begins today?
Lumine, you didn't write this, did you?
Well, that was an unexpected
What?
development. What happened to the grand adventure?
Bro, you didn't just do this. They did not just hit me with the absolute cutest Lumine face I have seen. What? Huh? And why does it look like she has makeup now? Like she looks like she's got some stuff on her eye. Huh? What just happened? The Grand Adventure is just wait, huh?
What? But that's so misleading.
I see Lumine likes to be a joke author.
Out of a maximum of 10 points, I'd give that a 9.
Also, this is another reason why picking Lumine was better than picking Ether. Because, bro, I would love to still see Ether's face there. I would love to see the smuggest dude you've ever seen after that.
The story certainly goes in an unorthodox direction, and the Dragon Girl sounds destined to be a hit character. Approved.
I feel like I've seen a Dragon Girl somewhere else. In many places.
What the heck?
Good job, little one. You're not only drawing on your own experiences, but it seems you're filtering them through the lens of the kinds of light novels you've read in the past. I think you really understand what we're trying to do here.
I think that she's read the kind of light novels that, are just a little strange.
Thoughts from the experts? Are we able to work with this general framework to make an interesting story?
Yeah, we think it works. I tend to overcomplicate the core concept if I'm not careful, so this deals with that problem.
Also, if that Lumine face with her sticking her tongue out is not put in the Lumine is a facial expression compilation part whatever the hell we're at right now, I'm going to seethe.
That's good. Okay, we're done with Chapter 1. Let's move on to Chapter 2.
Oh boy, can't wait.
Huh? Won't that do for now?
Readers will devour your content a lot more quickly than you'd think. If we don't keep delivering the goods now we've caught their attention, all our hard work so far is in vain. Hurry, Chapter 2, let's go. Can't you see that Satomi is waiting?
What's wrong with you? You don't look so good.
I can't think of any more stories. My mind's gone blank. Man, Lumine's already hit that writer's block.
What a pity. I thought your beginner's luck would carry you a little further before it came to this. But alas, the time has come prematurely.
I mean, come on, Lumine, you just need to think of the title of this chapter, think of the basis, and then when you write with that basis in mind, all of it will come as you write. You don't just sit there and be like, okay, I know exactly the entire thing I'm gonna write. I know everyone's dialogue. You're not sitting there doing that. Nobody is. You're making it all up as you go. But if you already know everything that they want to say, like everything, then damn, you got it down.
Before it came to what? What's happened?
The bane of our existence. Writer's block. It's your arch nemesis for life, appearing without warning and inflicting a pain worse than death upon the writer. They sell their souls just to get their muse back.
Writer's block and Muse takes me right on back to Alan Wake. I need to get that. I need to fucking play the remaster. Because it's been too fucking long since I played that fucking gem of a game.
Sounds awful.
When this happens, the best thing you can do is have a bite to eat and take a proper break. Boss, get me a plate of fried tofu, and get some kushikatsu for these two. Just the basic kind will do. Don't worry, this is my treat.
Your treat? Oh, wait a minute. Miko, we'll be getting paid for all the hard work we're doing, right?
Of course, everyone that takes part in the creative process will be paid.
Alright, cool. Then let's press on, shall we? Don't give up now. For the sake of our paycheck, get your brain going!
Paycheck, Speaking of Mora...
Ooh! Does this mean your inspirations come back?
Took a trip to Wheeley, tour guide, turned out to be Rex Lapis. Rock and roll, girl. I turned into a Geo... I died and came back reincarnated as a slime. Nah, took a trip to Wheeley, tour guide turned out to be Rex Lapis. Is definitely better than Rock and Roll Girl, and I turned into a Geovicious hatchling.
Let's see now. The protagonist arrives in Liyue and befriends a young man who doesn't have the money to pay for anything. Only later do we find out that this young man is none other than Rex Lapis himself. With the help of the Qixing and the protection of the Adepti, I am free to roam this vast realm.
Do not forget, osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those that share the memories?
That guy was talking about?
I give it a 9.8. The story is fun and action-packed with no dark undertones. Also, there are a great many legends about Rex Lapis. I'm sure it will spark the people's curiosity. I, for one, think there's a sizable market for this.
Alright, well, let's just hope Zhongli doesn't mind.
Shh.
Great.
Quiet,
well,
Paimon.
now Satomi can get started on that.
Leave it to me, Lady Yai.
Let's write about Inazuma in the 3rd chapter, shall we? I can help with this one. We can use the Vision Hunt Decree or your experience in the Resistance. Any ideas?
Stuff this? Come on, let's get rid of the Vision Hunt Decree? Farewell Literature Hunt Decree, what the fuck? Starting as a Resistance soldier. Yeah, starting as a Resistance soldier sounds better to me. Also, I wonder if the way these are written...
When the Vision Hunt Decree comes out of nowhere, the protagonist joins the Resistance, starting out as an ordinary rank-and-file soldier.
I wonder if these changes depending on, I actually wanted to see the other options, but also am curious if these change depending on if you play as Lumine or Ether. Because the first one with Lumine turning the dragon into a girl, and being like there was a romance there, is definitely a thing a woman would, in Japan, what women would mostly write. Well, actually no, the women in Japan mostly write about the gay stuff, right? Isn't that right? Because that's what they love, for some reason.
Find out how the protagonist goes on to make great contributions to the war effort, become best friends with the Resistance General, and get to know the Guji of the Grand Narukami Shrine, working together with everyone to finally secure a grand victory for the Resistance. It's surprisingly normal.
Well, sometimes normal is better than just the crazy action-packed, supernatural, magic, everything else.
I think it's rather good. A lot of people still like the classic hero's journey, from ordinary soldier to great leader, a fresh take on a timeless classic. One thing, though. We'll need to rewrite the part about me giving you the Omamori. Let's change it to... The mysterious Lady Kitsune teaches the protagonist a spell that can make their wishes come true. The protagonist uses this spell to defeat the Raiden Shogun in battle.
We're really going head-to-head with our rival on this one, huh?
I suppose so. Once they're done writing the manuscript, I'll write the passage where the protagonist recites the incantation myself.
Are we done then? Do you really think this will be able to beat a first-hand guide to summoning spirits?
You know, honestly, I don't think I would have liked this part of the story quest as much as if I didn't, well, like to do a little writing on the side.
The content is fine. Now we just need to promote it. I will contact an artist to make some illustrations. I'm positive they will be at least as good as those in A First-Hand Guide to Summoning Spirits. We'll also need an endorsement on a paper band around the book. I can get the wonderful Ms. Hina to write that.
Uh-oh.
She runs a regular Q&A column in That's Life magazine. The people of Inazuma absolutely adore her.
Him.
You're free to take a break while the creative team is doing their work, but please go by the Yai Publishing House at some point to commission Ms. Hina for that recommendation. Once our light novel is complete, let's meet at the writer's submission event.
Nope. I didn't want to sit like that.
Let me think. What spell does Lady Kitsune teach to the protagonist?